Hello everyone, Kier here, and welcome to the InfiNOT podcast. I'm focused on the casual nature of the game, and each week I discuss the new patch, the new card, and my feelings on the game. Let's hop into it. So this week we don't have like a major patch or anything, but we do have 2 new cards, and I also want to talk about the new game mode that was announced called High Voltage. And we're going to go in order of their release dates, so let's start with Agent Venom. Agent Venom, of course, is a 2/4, and he says on reveal, set the power of all cards in your deck to 4. Now, when this card initially came out, I'm sure myself and a bunch of other people immediately thought of an archetype like Bounce, and I think it's doing pretty well in there. There are also some like sort of negative Ravona decks that are playing around with Agent Venom, and I think that those decks are going to see play with this card. I have no doubt. And I think they're doing pretty well in terms of statistics. But this card, to me, is really interesting because it's a Bast for your deck, and the potential is a lot higher than Bast, obviously. The only downside, of course, being that if you don't play him early, then you don't get as much value out of his effect. But even still, just like hitting one card that has 0 power makes this guy a 2/8. So, like, I don't see how this card could be bad. I threw him into a Devil, Dino, and Darkhawk deck that has a bunch of cards that go with both of those archetypes, including, Agent Coulson, Rock Slide, Korg, that kind of thing. And what I found is that it's actually, like, extremely good. Like, having the ability to make your collector start at 4 power, or make your Mystique start at 4 power, is just really great. Sometimes you're only buffing things by 1 point, like the Devil Dino. But, I mean, you get value no matter what. And I think that it works really well. For the full list, it's Kitty Pryde, Korg, Collector, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, Agent Venom, Mystique, Cosmo, Rock Slide, Agent Coulson, Iron Man, Darkhawk, and Devil Dinosaur. And I'm having a ton of fun with this list. Right now, it's the list that I'm running to get up the ladder. And it's just like, it's so nice to be able to boost all of your cards up. So, like, even if you don't get the huge Darkhawk or the huge Devil Dino, you're still putting out a lot of power on the board. And something that I found is, like, Agent Venom feels okay to play on, like, a turn 5 with a 3-drop, because it's a 2/4. And again, if you hit one card, you're still getting value, and as long as your deck is set up correctly. So yeah, I'm having a great time with this card. I would say that it's probably going to be one of those cards that sees less play over time, just because that's what happened to Bast. Like, it's a really cool effect, and I really love the card, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it drop off. The second newest card that we've gotten is Scream. And Scream is a 2/2 that says, when an enemy card moves, steal 2 power from it once per turn. And I actually misinterpreted this card. I thought that it was pretty much identical to Kingpin, except that it was stealing power. But it's not the case. It's just whenever an enemy card moves, no matter where they are on the board. So you don't have to, like, make lane-specific plays. This card is good, man. I mean, the Mobster Move package with Kingpin, Polaris, Magneto, Arrow, all those guys, it's good in there. And now that Scream is your powerhouse, you can really focus on putting good cards in your deck and even throwing some tech in there, because even just two moves makes this a monstrously large card, because it steals 2 power. So the card that moves loses 2 power, and then this gains 2 power. So after 1 move, it's a 2/6. After 2 moves, it's a 2/10. That's nuts. I mean, that's just absolutely bonkers. So I really hope that the Mobster Move archetype gets a nice boost from this. I'm hearing that a lot of people are having a lot of fun with this card. I'm not one of the people who grabbed it. Just, it's not my cup of tea, but it seems to be really good. So, I mean, this whole week seems to be stacked with good cards. Not to mention, in the previous OTA, of course, we had a couple of buffs to that kind of archetype. So, I mean, geez Louise. Talk about a slam dunk of a week. And it's not even over yet, because I mean, we have a lot of really cool things coming out, including the new high voltage mode. And I'm just going to read the description that they have here. High Voltage is a limited time mode that makes the world's fastest collectible card game even faster. In this mode, there's no snapping, just 3 turns with more energy and more cards to make even bigger power swings. In High Voltage, you will start the game with 2 cards and draw 2 new cards each round. On each of the 3 turns, you and your opponent will gain the same amount of randomized energy to try to play out your best strategies. And to make sure it stays fast, certain locations and characters will be restricted. So no playing magic to slow things down. And don't forget, playing High Voltage during the event is the only way to unlock our newest card, Agony, for free. Miss out, and you'll need to find Agony in the token shop as a Series 4 card available October 31st. Okay, so there are a lot of really cool things in here. Firstly, we're getting a new game mode. That's cool. It's going to be limited time like Deadpool's Diner. Really cool, though, besides like the mechanics of the mode, which is going to make deck building really interesting, having certain locations and characters restricted, we've never dealt with this before. Which makes me wonder, like, if you go into the high voltage mode, do you have to make a deck there? And then, like, certain cards just won't show up? Or if you try to bring a deck with a banned card, will it just, like, give you a pop-up? That's really interesting. And then, obviously, certain locations being restricted makes sense, given that, you know, a lot of them are turn-specific on, like, turn 5 or turn 6 or turn 4. So all of that is fascinating. And then you add to the idea that you're getting a free card, which is Agony. And I'll go ahead and read that quickly before I continue ranting about this. Agony is a 1/2 that says, after you play a card here, merge this with it. So it's kind of like a preemptive Hulkbuster, which is really cool. I mean, now if you have Hulkbuster and Agony in your deck, that's a lot of power that you can add to a card. What this means, though, is since Agony is a Series 4 card, it'll be our first Series 4 card to drop, like, ever. Not ever, but you know what I mean. In a really, really long time, we have not had a card drop a Series 4, which is really fascinating to me. I think what's also really fascinating is the no magic to slow things down. So I wonder if there are other cards that are going to be restricted, because it says certain locations and characters. I want, like, how are they going to try to, like, artificially balance this mode to prevent cards like Jubilee? No, that doesn't make sense, because there's, no, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know, because the only one off the top of my head I can think of is Magic. But are there other characters that would mess with things? I guess maybe Kang. It's something to definitely think about. Oh, Daredevil too. Okay, so there's more than one that I can think of. I guess Kang might work, but it does slow down the game. I don't know. I'll be fascinated to see what kind of take they have on this mode. And I'm actually kind of excited to play this one because it's not as swingy to me. You are going to experience a lot of RNG, I can imagine. But, like, in terms of how it plays, I think it's going to land a lot better for me than Deadpool's Diner, but we'll definitely have to see. But anywho, I think that about wraps up my time here. I know, a bit of a shorter episode. The whole tagline of this series is I try to keep these under 25 minutes, but, like, sometimes I'm really keeping it under 25 minutes, if you know what I mean. So hopefully you still have lots of time to play Snap then. I will catch you guys later. If there's one thing that you can remember, it's that I'm InfiNOT. Thanks for listening.